This role play is for a class assignment and it's not a real counseling session. Hi, Michelle.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Dr. Wallace. I'm so glad you could come in today. I know you kind of gave me a little information over the phone about why you were coming in, but I just wanted to get from you what's going on. What brought you in today?
Well, really, it's kind of hard to talk about because I'm really not. When I grew up, we didn't talk a whole lot about sex and things like that. So it's kind of hard to tell you what's going on. But, you know, just so that I can kind of get a little help and not hurt my husband's feelings. My husband's name is Dexter. And, well, you know, um, we just really aren't doing so well in the bedroom. I'll just say it like that.
Okay. Okay. So, when you say you're not doing it in the bedroom, is it communication in the bedroom or is it sexual activity that you're having a problem with or
It's sexual activity. Like, really, I'm not even interested anymore.
okay. Okay. So, about how long has this been happening like or going on?
Well, in the beginning, it was all wonderful, fun, and great. All was going well, but lately, he just hadn't been doing it for me. You know what I mean?
I think I'm getting a good idea. So, the sex is not enjoyable. So, are you able to achieve orgasm during sex?
Not often.
No. Okay. Okay. So, how long have you and Dexter been married?
We've been married 3 years.
2 years. Okay. And about how long would you say that you've been having this problem?
It's been going on for about the past 8 or 9 months.
Okay. So, prior to this happening, how was the sex? You said it was
It was
okay.
it was okay. It was pretty good
Were you able to achieve orgasm in that time?
most of the time.
Okay. So, if we had to put a percentage on it, what would you say?
About maybe 30% of the time.
30%. Okay. Okay. So, have you noticed any marked changes in your relationship with Dexter as far as how you two relate to one another? Does he initiate the sex most of the time? Do you initiate it all?
I don't initiate it at all because I just really am not that interested in it anymore.
Okay.
Because he's not doing it.
Okay. So, when you say he's not doing it for you, is it an issue of there's just not enough foreplay and not enough stimulation in the right places? I mean, how is your sexual communication? And by that I mean sex talk in the bedroom. Like, do you tell him what feels good to you, what doesn't feel good to you, where to touch you, how to touch you?
No, not really. Because I just feel like he's a man and he should know.
Okay, 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 okay. Well, one of the things that I like to tell couples, relationships are difficult to maintain if communication is off. Not just talking about your day or what problems you may be having outside the bedroom, but in the bedroom is specifically important to communicate with one another about what you like, what you don't like. Simply because then you run into situations where one or both partners aren't satisfied. And then that opens up a whole plethora of other problems. You know what I mean? Um, if you're not communicating sexually, then you're not really in tune with one another. And that could create other problems. But specifically, I want to look at you saying that the orgasm. Um, in prior relationships to Dexter, were you able to achieve orgasm majority of the time when you had sex?
Yes.
Would you say it was more than with Dexter, or about the same?
About the same.
About the same, so about 30%. Okay. Um, and I don't know, I know some people feel a little weird talking about it, but as far as self pleasuring, Do you engage in self-pleasuring at all?
I have tried that just because it excites him,
Okay.
but I just think that's crazy.
Okay. Okay. So you've only done it in front of him. Have you ever done it alone?
No.
No. Okay. Okay. So in front of him, are you feeling like performance anxiety of the sort? Like you have to do a certain thing to make him happy, or
Maybe. And
okay,
I just kind of think that's a little weird.
a little weird. Okay. Okay. Well, I certainly would suggest that you and Dexter start talking more in the bedroom. Like I said, communication is one of those very important aspects of a relationship and keeping that relationship intact. Um, letting him know that certain things to you feel weird can cause a decrease in your desire, a decrease in the stimulation, and of course, a decrease in you being able to enjoy the sexual experience. Um, I would suggest also that maybe, sometimes we're not able to communicate to our partners what we like because we are not aware really of what we like. Um, so I would try maybe, and this is only if you're comfortable with just maybe a little self exploration of the body. Getting in touch with your erogenous zones, because there's more than just the nipples or the clitoris. There's other spots on our bodies that can elicit, satisfaction. And so I would maybe suggest that first. If you don't feel comfortable, just letting him know, just take some time by yourself and just explore. Um, of course, with the masturbation, if you're not comfortable with that, I can understand that as well. But I would attempt it if you feel comfortable after the self exploration. Just trying it without him looking and just kind of in a relaxed environment and just see what it does. But those are the first two things I would want you to try, just on your own. And of course, as time goes, we can add Dexter to the mix, with that if you're comfortable with that. But definitely talk to him. Just maybe kind of, if sex is initiated here in the next week or so, kind of guide him in what makes you happy. Like if he does a certain thing that you don't like, let him know. Or if you have a feeling of something you would like to try, let him know. Sometimes, like I said, our partners don't know what we like because we have a block against saying those type of things. Just like you said, growing up, you didn't talk about sex. So that may be, like a subconscious block you have of, I don't want to talk about it, it's kind of nasty. I don't, it's taboo. So he should know he's a man. But, that's not always the case. Because you never know what he may have had in his home. They may not have talked about sex either. But I would definitely try that. Um, Also, are there any like type of medications or anything you're taking, or
Oh, yeah. Um, I'm taking some antidepressants
okay, okay,
just because of some things that happen earlier on in life.
okay? How long have you been on antidepressants?
About a year now because some dreams started coming up and I've been
Okay, okay,
just trying to deal with it.
okay. So you said it was because of some things that happened earlier in life. You wanna talk about that?
Not really.
Okay,
And
okay,
I don't want to tell him either.
okay. So do you feel that disclosing that information to him may change the nature of your relationship, or
It's possible. And then I don't want him thinking, oh, she's broken and helpless, and that's just not who I am.
okay, okay? Well, I do know that taking certain medications can cause a decrease in libido, so to speak, desire and feeling, actually. So I would say the doctor that prescribed those, did he do a full, like, have you been checked Um,
Yes,
or actually, have you seen the doctor about possible side effects of the medication?
I have talked to my doctor, and they did a full exam and checked everything, and I was given a green go, but it's still not
Okay.
working.
So how does the medication make you feel? Like, does it just completely numb you, or just is it just take your mind off of the situations that you're dealing with, or
It just kind of takes my mind off of things that I'm dealing with. Stops some of the, dreams and stuff that's going on.
the dreams? How often do you have those?
A couple of times a week.
A couple times a week. Okay. So the medication though it helps. It before the medication, how often were you having the dreams?
More than maybe, probably 4 to 5 times a
Four to
week.
five times. Okay, so it's working to help repress or at least help you forget. Okay, okay. Well, the fact that you are having to take antidepressants can say a lot. You're dealing with depression over things that have happened prior. That can have a lot to do with it as well. I'm not sure, it's of a sexual nature that your dreams are centered around. I mean, certainly if you, at some point feel comfortable in letting me know that, we can certainly explore that to see what root that has and maybe you feeling the way you feel right now. But it's certainly something to look into, considering that prior sexual desire you had for Dexter, as opposed to now you're just not really feeling it. So would you say that's just in general, or would you say that's specific to just him?
It's specific to, or maybe it's just in general. I don't know. Since, it's kind of, I'm in a marriage. It's not like I can go out and have sex with whoever I want.
Right, right, right. And certainly don't want to encourage that. Certainly not.
But I say in general because probably somebody else wouldn't be able to do it either.
Okay. And then too, you stated earlier that in prior sexual history that you weren't able to achieve orgasm all the time anyway, which in itself is not a concern. A lot of women don't achieve orgasm vaginally during sex. It has mostly comes from clitoral stimulation. So and that's not a big red flag, you know what I mean? Because it happens. You know, always orgasm when you have sex. Men more than likely do, but it's harder for us women. So that's not a huge red flag, like I said. But if there is a pattern of you not being able to reach satisfaction with any sex partner you've had, and then coupled with, like you said, maybe the dreams and medication, there's something maybe we need to look into a little bit further. I certainly would like to address your depression issue, um, just to kind of just get a gauge, you like to mind, body, and spirit, to see where the disconnection is and what's happening. But like I said, try those two exercises. Um, Additionally, maybe start talking to Dexter a little bit. And I know this may seem a little weird, considering, but it may help to incorporate some erotic materials in your relationship. Only if you feel comfortable, only as you feel comfortable. I certainly don't want you to rush into just doing something that you're not going to like. Because if you don't like it, it's not going to work. But like I said, maybe engage in a little sex talk with Dexter. Maybe flirt a little bit during the day. See if that will boost your desire for him. And then, like I said, telling him what you like. Instead of him initiating, you try initiating. Only if you feel comfortable or as you feel comfortable. And then, of course, the self-exploration, which I think will open up a lot more for you in terms of what you like and don't like. But Anything else you would like to let me know about the situation, or anything you may have questions about?
Mm, nothing I can think of right now.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, as far as bringing in Dexter, because I would really like to talk with him as well. Certainly talking to you is going to go a long way, but I need to get a gauge on how he feels. The fact that y'all are not talking with each other is a little concerning. Is it just in the bedroom, or do you communicate well outside the bedroom? Or have you noticed a change in your communication there?
There's been a little,
A little.
but I think it's just because of the avoidance of trying. Because I
Okay.
don't want to
Okay.
even.
So it's just causing a few road patches. Okay. Well, yeah, I certainly would like to talk to him at some point. Maybe after a few more sessions with you and I, we kind of get a better handle on what the situation or the problem may be. Um, we can bring him in and see what he, from his point of view, what does he think? Because if you haven't talked to him, maybe he thinks he's the problem. Um, but we'll certainly try that. Also, there's a couple of pamphlets that I do have that I would like to give you before you leave. And it's simply just about your body and the reactions during the sexual response cycle. Basically, our body goes through different stages of, when we get ready to participate in sexual activity. We have the excitement stage, the orgasm stage, the resolution. And it would be helpful to know, to recognize those stages. So maybe you can identify where the cutoff is for you. Like maybe you like it at the beginning, but then somewhere in the transition, you just lose it. So I would like to give you those. You can just read over them and kind of get an idea of how that works. Also, there's one on Kegel exercises. And I really like that one because Kegel exercises, mostly are for pregnant women. They are suggested for pregnant women. And I know most of us know about them. And that's just for strengthening and tone and control of our PC muscles, which are beneficial and active in orgasm. Um, but I think that would be helpful too, because it could be, excuse me, that, sometimes we have a lot on our minds. We get ready to have sex, and it's just like, I have this happening, this happening, this happening. I can't really concentrate. Or even if you are just actively involved in it, um, say if Dexter isn't doing specifically what you need him to do, the manipulation of the PC muscle could make a difference in the stimulation you receive. Um, so I would give you that as well. And maybe you can try practicing those. That it doesn't really take anything but just sitting here actually. You can be doing that any time of the day. And also, I want you to, if you could, write down when you were feeling the depressive, coming back. Like anytime, I know you said dreams. If you have a dream, mark it down. Show me or let me know if they're reoccurring at a more frequent pace, or if they're staying at that 2 a week. Certainly 2 is a lot for dreams of that nature. So try to keep a journal of that, or anytime you're feeling like depressed. Um, Kind of log it and let's look at it and see how frequent these bouts are, and any disagreements you may have with Dexter. I also want y'all to look into not just the sexual communication, but just talking. Just you guys just talking. Maybe sit on the couch and just get a list of topics and just talk about one. Doesn't have to be sexual, doesn't have to be related to you coming here or anything like that. It could just be about regular everyday stuff. I think that would help get y'all reconnected. But yeah, we could try those few tips, and certainly we'll look into more options when you come back in. But for now, I do appreciate you coming. This is a really good start. I feel good about. I hope as time progresses, you'll feel more open to letting me know what's going on. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So just see the receptionist at the front. She'll schedule you for the next time. But before we go, any questions or anything you wanted to know about the process?
No, nothing I can think of.
Okay. Okay. Well, again, thanks for coming. It was good to meet you,
All
and I'll
right.
see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.